How's it going, people? Thanks again for tuning to one of our videos. We're going to continue from our last video, which was talking about the Maui rebuild update that Kim brought up in one of her situation reports on August 16th. So this time we're going to continue with what's been said this week in one of her situation reports. We did speak about it a little in that last video, but today we're going to be a bit more granular on it. So what we're going to do first of all is play some about under half an hour of Kim's situation report. Now we've had to cut bits out because we just don't want it to go on and on and on, but have a listen to this and then we'll come back and we'll go through it piece by piece.
And now here's Kimberly Goguen with the Office of the Guardian. Kim, I'm excited for today's update.
You should be.
Yeah.
You should be. So we talked about 11/11 in our current calendar being the day that we flipped into the Dark Ages officially. And it took a few days.
To the light age. You said into
No,
the dark
when we
age.
flipped into the Dark Age 3 billion years ago.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going back to what happened before.
Gotcha.
So at that time, about 3 or 4 days, it's about little more than 72 hours went by, and a legion of fallen angels arrived to usher in the Dark Age.
Mm-hmm.
And that is officially when everything started. So they started removing all those of the light, removing all of those of source, and they took over this planet. And then you have the infrastructure as we have seen it for the last, 3 billion years. And then, in comings and goings at the time, that's where Marduk came in, always in cooperation with the fallen angels, because that was the plan under a dark age. Well, this time they were under the impression these folks were coming back and they were going to save them. But the opposite happened last night. So the reason why all my alarms in my phone, or not my phone, but the computer, everything was ringing last night, was because these folks, the non-fallen angels, wanted permission to enter. They had arrived. So over the course of about 3 hours to 4 hours this morning, if you call that morning, we had 120,000 arrivals of what you would consider sources angels.
Wow.
Yep. So our little plans of cleaning places and cleaning houses and doing all the things was nothing compared to what I've seen since that time.
Okay.
Now, yesterday, and I forgot to tell you about this part, they had actually also gone to Mar-a-Lago, and there were terms and conditions given to the family members. Some operatives departed because they're crazy, and they were given terms and conditions about when they're going to make their announcement. They asked for a few days. They were given a very short window. So if they do not comply, they will no longer be with us either. And that is how this is working. You do exactly what we say, or you are no longer here. Now, the legions are the cleanup crew. That's what they're here to do. They are here to clean up any remnants of the dark ones. Now, these are non-repairable humans, quote unquote. And they have plowed through 252,000 people, non-complying people, since midnight last night, Mountain Time.
Oh, my goodness.
And the numbers are rising like crazy. They are getting rid of anyone with a dark consciousness, anyone on the old program, anyone that refuses to comply. It is quick. It is simple. It is easy. It is not complicated. And they are here under, obviously, on high orders.
Mm-hmm.
They are going in everywhere. Thus far, Oh,
Well, I was just going to say, Kim, what do people see? Do they see a human in front of them? Do they not see anything at all? Does it just kind of, you know what I'm saying? Do they see a blue light? What do they see when?
no, they actually see a human.
They see a
But
human?
even yesterday, when the coalition was at the Treasury Department, you had some people whispering in there, are those angels? Who are they? Because they don't look quite right. The higher the density, the less like a human they can have themselves look. So there's a little oddity about them. And then, how many people do you know can walk into a gunfight and make the guns disappear? So there's that too, and that's caught on camera. A lot of that's been caught on camera. Obviously, there's security cameras in the Treasury building,
Sure.
in New York and in DC. So far today, other than the departed ones, we pretty much, they're going to continue until there is no non-compliant ones left. They have actually, now to answer your question, they have actually shown their true selves to a few folks. A few of the 15 military have seen them before their departure.
Okay.
There has been some showings at the White House, because after they got rid of all the people that were around the White House that could influence the White House, they have now taken the White House. They sat everybody down, told them there's going to be changes, things are going to be different, everything is going to happen. They asked who they were there on behalf of. They first asked if they were there on behalf of Trump, and my head almost spun around like The Exorcist. I'm like, oh my God, no. Well, that's because Monarch Military and Umbrella Military told them Trump would be back in the White House by January, and that was a lie. I know. Boy. So the legions informed them, no, they're on behalf of Ground Commander, gave them my name. I am also the director of the GIA, and yes, they work directly with the GIA, and there will be changes in this country, is what they said. They asked who was going to be in the White House if it wasn't going to be Trump.
Oh, with the White House. Oh,
I know. Oh,
when
for
an
the love
angel
of Christ.
shows up, guys, don't ask who the president's going to be.
They said there might be an interim government, possibly military, is what they said.
Okay.
Now, at this moment in time, things are going very well. So we'll see. There's still people disappearing that work in the Pentagon. They will continue to disappear if they continue to not comply. They are not to pick up the phone from Monarch Military or anybody else that happens to call. There were 4 chief of staff, we could call them the Chinese deep state section of the White House, that were ushered out, said, thank you for your service. Goodbye. You'll be compensated for your work. And that's it. Yep.
Wow.
So this is all since we last spoke on Monday. Tremendous progress. Now, this will be done in every single country on earth until either the governments comply or people die. That is the way it's going to be. They also, in Langley, things went actually better than expected. They were sick and tired of listening to these people and going around in circles.
Wow.
I know.
Interesting.
They were like, welcome. I know.
They opened the doors.
Open the doors. Have some hors d'oeuvres. Grab some tea. Let's have a chat.
So is that the generals then? When we talk about Langley,
No. That's not Langley 5. This is actual
Okay.
the building Langley,
gotcha.
and yes.
Okay. Yeah.
They will make the rounds through to the FBI. They have also visited the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is going to be no more, and they know it. They are going to need more personnel because there are some people that work there that are not bad people. So, like Susan Stanwyck, she's all for the gold standard and that kind of thing. So there's a few people in there that are decent people, and they would They suggested that we create a new division of the Treasury Department that would handle the law making and enforcement, and that would handle, I'm not using the term regulation anymore because it won't be a regulatory thing. Regulations are not laws, they are mere suggestions by a third party consultant. That's the Fed. Because the Fed's not actually part of the government, as all of you know, watching this. So will you see some changes? The answer to the question is yes. We do expect that, according to those at the Treasury, they have said they should be ready to go by Friday. They should have everything in place, everyone in place in all the treasuries and everything that has been requested. All the other government departments will have been addressed, so to speak. They will be going into banks later on this afternoon. They have actually gone in and, let's just say, either removed or took out boards in media companies completely.
Wow.
In preparation for what is to come. Next, there'll be some serious staff meetings going on in the larger news outlets. I would say a lot of the news outlets come from America, the ones that are global, but there are a few that don't. But they will be going to them all, sitting everybody down and letting the agency people, known as journalists, know how things are going to go. And either they're going to comply and have a job or not. They will announce what they're supposed to announce, just like good actors do. And the other folks over in Congress will also be complying with what they are supposed to say and announce. So this should probably start happening by next week. I don't expect public disclosure until things are sort of wrapping up. I do expect to hear a few death announcements by the end of the month. That is what I have been told. I've been told how much time they would have, but I don't like to give times because then if something happens and there's a hiccup, then I'm wrong and everybody will yell at me. So I don't want that. So I would say to you, my guess would be is before the end of the month. I can tell you, if you are watching this from the White House, there is a cold chance in whatever we put another dead person in the seat. So it will be a living human. It will not be me, although I will be the president of basically every country during this transition. So, I'd say put your seats in the upright position and buckle your seatbelt because we're coming in for a landing into Restoration Station. I know.
That's incredible.
That's interesting, isn't it? You
God.
will see these people. I do expect they will be participating in media. So you will see these people at some point. You, because you are in the know, will probably notice that something is a little bit different. I expect you'll see them, maybe even standing in the background during some press conferences and places like that, because there is no more room for error.
Wow.
Yep. The done button had been hit.
If we do see them on media, besides the people that might just be standing in the background, would they be saying they're from the GIA? Would they be on camera at all?
There will be public announcements for that too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. There'll be a lot of public announcements about GIA and CARE. If they are, if they want funding, if they are going to survive, if they're going to be breathing and upright, there will be. They have also been to the United Nations. Today have not been to the World Bank and the IMF as yet. They're picking the ones that usually drive the bus of others in other countries. You can't go to a country in Africa, for example, without first addressing the United Nations. You can't go to the Middle East unless you address NATO. So there's a lot of things that have to take place in a certain sequence, but they're moving very, very quickly. So this isn't going to be a lengthy process where they're hoping that they will be ready to go somewhere or do something by the 17th of November. We're running out of time. especially here in the United States and in governments all around the world, because most people are taking off for a holiday break around that time. Friday is usually the last day of business. We can make that not so or so. And then everybody readjourns in January. So we're trying to keep things, the interim budgets and interim situations and moving rapidly, because they won't have anything to come back to in January if we don't. So right now, there are, like I said, there's a lot of departed ones that didn't want to comply, and that's okay. And there's no more someone else is going to step up, because you cannot lie to these people. Not people, but you can't lie to these folks. You cannot. They can read your mind. They can read your intent. They can tell if you're telling the truth or not. So there's no lying to these people. They're fast, efficient, and they intend to have this planet cleaned up in rapid order.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm kind of still taking everything in. Like, we've never had this much help before. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like,
I know, we have never had this much help ever. I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't. I did, because of course, when all the alarms go off like that, the first thing you do is you go direct, right, and ask what's going on.
Sure.
And he said, today it all begins. And I said, okay. That's the big boss, right? He said, today it all begins.
Yeah.
And just kind of smiled. I'm like, okay, good. I don't know what's beginning, but it sounds good. Comes from you. Okay, I trust you. Anything you need me to do?
So for the 120,000 that are here, how long do you think they'll be here? I know they've got some work to do, but you said that they're moving fast. Any ideas?
Yeah, they will be here until the transition is complete. Here's the other bit of news too, is that these will be your new participators in industry for care as well. They will be helping getting care off and running.
Okay.
Yes, in some cases, there are a lot of members of the coalition and others that will be heading companies now, large companies that you would consider Cabal companies that give us poison.
Yeah.
They are moving in to those positions as CEO and boards of those companies as well. This is a complete hostile takeover.
Yeah.
Of every Cabal asset you can think of. If you go on the internet, it tells you about Disney. It tells you about all these different corporations around the world. 5 companies run all of media companies in the world. So you can imagine where we've been already this morning and where we're going after that, on down the line. I'm not expecting this to take as long as I thought it was going to be. I thought, wow, I'm a good strategist, Monday, I'm a good strategist, and I'm going to go kick some ground command butt, and I'm going to get this done. And here's the plan, and we're going to go here. And how many do we have? And, and I'm putting people in positions, and we're going to make this work one way or the other. And we would have gotten it done. I mean, it would have happened. But holy crap, these people came in guns a-blazing, taking no prisoners whatsoever, extreme prejudice applied everywhere, and they're coming soon to a theater near you. So they're going to be in your neck of the woods if you're not watching this from the U.S. very soon. There are a lot of corporations, worldwide global corporations that are based here. So there'll be some that will still be here. They're putting other people in position. So you could kind of technically say that we've actually had an alien invasion. So maybe the deep state wasn't wrong. By the time we're done here, we'll probably be up to 300,000, I'm sure.
Do you have any idea how high it's going to go?
I was surprised about that they had already pinpointed the pinch points in all these locations before they went. They ushered people out the door. They knew exactly who the holdouts were in every particular case, who was still listening. they had gone and explained, to people. So I was surprised. They had already hit the targets,
Yeah.
I guess it's not hard to read when you're reading from a certain level. But
Sure.
they had already picked out who had to go immediately before they even opened their mouth and said what's going to happen, just in case. Yep. So very interesting happenings. And I do expect it's going to hit mainstream media soon. No, it is. You could call them white hats. They do not wear hats typically. No, I'm just kidding.
They're more blue, right? When you get that high up, aren't you more blue, like your natural state of being? Aren't you more of like a
eighth
blue
density?
light?
Yes, that's part of the coalition.
Yeah.
But when you come from where the 120,000 came from, you are white.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
That's closer to source. Were they in the ninth density?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You could literally say we got stormed by 120,000 angels last night. And it would be the truth. And what your sense is and where they come from and where they live. Yes, we did. So it's not only the coalition and the colonies and the council and those folks that's all eighth density and down, for the most part.
Okay.
And they were already doing this. They were already here. We were already moving on. We were cleaning up. We were doing the thing, what we're supposed to be doing. And these guys came in here blazing. You could call today Judgment Day, if you will. The departure of many souls.
Right.
Day.
Right.
So all great things for humanity. I know people are going to freak out a little bit. No, they are not looking for you that cheated on your test at school, and whatever. They're not looking for that person. They're looking. That's not a bad person. That's just a person that, did some things. They're looking for those that are not going to comply with the restoration of the planet and the restoration of the universe. Those that are still waiting for demons to come and save them. Those that are clinging on to the dark consciousness for life. Those that are still continue to try to hack computer systems using what little remnant of dark matter omega system you can find. That's who they're going after. Those are people that are non-compliant with what is going on this planet. So we replaced the bus drivers. Now we'll see how many passengers get to stay on the bus. See what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Does that mean like whole families are being wiped out? Like, is there no such thing as a Rothschild after this?
There will be after this is done, unless they plan to comply. Some of the younger ones did choose to comply. Now they are also under 24-hour a day, 7-day a week watch. One wrong step and they're out. There is no leeway in this case. So there have been, like I said, some that have not been participating in the, family games, and, they're maybe in their 20s or 30s or something like that. They're not yet to that we've done the ritual thing kind of people, men and women.
Well, that makes me think of like people that, like celebrities and stuff that we know have done horrible rituals and things in the past. Would they be included on that list?
Today is a new day. You start today. What are you going to do today? Are you going to continue to do this? Are you going to continue to use adrenochrome? Are you going to continue to, summon demons? Are you going to continue? You have been informed, you have been warned, and they will know, regardless of the words that come out of their mouth, what's going on in their mind.
Sure.
So the heavy cleanup crew came. Guess there's some truth to that. What what they said about this is kind of like a reverse rapture sort of thing, isn't it?
I know people were saying that on Telegram. That's kind of what I felt too. I felt like, wow, the good people are supposed to go, but it looks like all the bad people are going pretty quickly. Yeah.
I know. Why wouldn't we, get to stay as long as we want on this, hopefully in the future, as long as we want, on this big, beautiful ball of ours.
Yeah.
We earned it. We've lived through the muck. We've been the ones that have been running around on a hamster wheel. We should be able to enjoy the fruits of our labor. And hopefully soon it'll be the labor of love, no longer running on a hamster wheel. But we should be, there is no going back. So there's no squirrel. You remember I used to talk about the squirrel? Yeah. They all make a decision that they're going to do something. And then before you know it, there's a squirrel. Oh, we forgot this ancient text. There's an alignment with Uranus. There's none of that anymore. There's no room for any of that anymore. That is not even a possibility. So if they say they're going to move forward, it might be a day or two off, depending on the circumstances. But, if they say they're going to move forward on Friday, I don't anticipate it being any longer than next week. That's my guess. We'll see. Right. There will be some requirements. And there will be no more squirrels. I mean, not squirrels per se. I like squirrels.
We like squirrels, just for the record.
Yeah.
We do
no more
like
right turns, no more left turns, no more, oh, look, lies and fairy tales of, Trump's the man or whatever, or he's going to save the world and, from beyond the grave, and no more lies to the people. No more lies. Yeah. No more promises, no more fantasies, no more fake money coming on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and the next full moon, new moon, kill more people. No more. Right. We are on the upturn, guys.
So now that you have all this help, I mean, are you still running operations, or are you able to sit back and just kind of watch things happen?
No, we are still running operations together for sure. I still have my part to do in the cleanup. It's not the same part, but then, I've got to walk the walk too. If we running in there, we're saying we're going to do this, we're saying we're going to do that. You have to, unlike the deep state, we actually do exactly what we say we're going to do. There's no, if we say we're going to do it, it is done. So I have to be there too on that, and from that aspect of it. If we say we're going to do something, then we're going to do it. So right now, the GIA is, by the end of the day, will be running the White House completely.
That's incredible.
With or without the people that are in it. And I'm not talking about the dead people.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
coming soon to your country.
What should we be doing during all of this? Because obviously this is a really exciting time and people are all amped up and, we want to see them. We want to interact with them. We want to do all that. But what should we be doing right now?
Well, we haven't deviated from our plan. We are still moving forward with technologies and things for care. We will be able to get started faster, and we will not have to worry about protection. As far as, someone going to steal your project, this is actually what's changed for all of you as individuals. You'll have a lot more of an opportunity. We're not killing scientists anymore that invent cures for disease. We're not doing those things anymore. And we're not going to be under threat of somebody wanting to do that anymore. There'll be a lot of change in industry. That'll probably take some time. I would say, there's no board to convince anymore. There's no CEOs to convince anymore. That will be the case. You either comply or you're out, or you're really out, like way out, like not coming back out. There are, you'll see changes in mainstream media, is what I've been told. Immediately, like very soon. For all of you, will probably be smiling because you've been watching our news. So when you start to hear these things on mainstream media, you can tell all those people that thought you were crazy that you're not crazy. See, look, haha, see,
Yeah.
It's a very useful tool. So I'm I'm impressed. I never knew that we would be receiving such a gift. I'm very grateful and thankful for it. I didn't know we get that. I didn't know it comes with a package at the end. So act now.
Awesome. Yeah. Wow.
I know. So we'll have hopefully some more news on Friday regarding the progress. This has been a wild ride for the last, little over about 30 hours now for me. So I'm excited. I'm happy.
Well, what do you think of that? Sometimes you can look at these, you listen to them, and you think, oh, this is comical, just absolute comical. And people are probably wondering, why do you bother? She's not hurting anybody. Well, the thing is, she is, and we say it, and this is for the benefit of all those new listeners to us, or new listeners to Kim, is that there's different types of scamming. It's not just about money. It's about taking people's time. It's about using people like a sweatbox to do work for them for free, promising them something at the end of it. And also, a lot of people's lives have been damaged by Kim, and it's like a cult. We've covered this quite a few times, but this is kind of like the creme de la creme of situation reports, considering from our point of view, because this has got everything in it. 100% bullshit. And we'll go through some of the points that she brought up in that video, so the audio, and we're gonna put our side of the story to it and what we think is going to happen. And if you followed some of our videos already, I think you're going to know what we're going to say. It's not like you don't have to be that intelligent to work this out. There's different types of intelligence. Unfortunately, the world we live in, a lot of intelligence is looked at what's written on paper, certificates, things like that. But you've also got to have a mindset of not believing in everything just because someone tells you it. How can you believe things without proof? Now, what Kim has put in this audio is, even though she's not putting an exact time frame on it, she has mentioned a lot of, like, by end of next week, by end of the month, but also the fact that she's got extra help, and the way that she's putting this forward, and you don't have to be stupid to understand that she's saying that this would be done very soon. And we're not talking soon as in years, we're talking in months. We're talking it has to be done by end of this year. If not, then she's finished 100%. Because if you're still following her come December the 31st, and you've, after what she's just said in the audio, and none of it's come true, and it would be it'd be right in front of you if you can't see it, the way that she's described what's going to happen. There's just so much. I mean, this is comical. This has got, like, movies, books, you name it, all wrapped into one. This is how she makes things up. She's really clever at doing it, yes, of course. And she's very convincing. But she doesn't. Her imagination is all fiction. There's nothing that's fact, apart from some of the bits that she'll say that's going on in the news, or what she's got from someone else. Anyway, so let's have a look at what she's said. I remember the situation report was a lot longer than this, so I'd recommend you go and listen to the full extract of it. And there's a few out there in Rumble of the situation report that you can watch it for free, because that's how I don't pay nothing for it. There's no way that we're going to be paying money to her. So this is what she's claiming from near enough from the beginning of it. She's talking about history. So a legion of fallen angels came down to Earth to wipe out the light, and this, she reckons, this was like about 3 billion years ago. Right? Okay. Then Marduk was put in charge of everything. So this is where the story goes about Marduk, and then so Marduk's dark, and of course you're going to be looking at her as if she's the light, and this is how she plays with your mind. So the Cabal thought that these so-called legion of angels had come back to save them, but Kim seems to think that the opposite has happened. It's basically getting rid of the dark this time, and they're on her side. I mean, she claims there's 120,000 of these, I think she called them sorcerers angels, and they're the cleanup crew. Human looking, she said, the ninth density, I think she said, and can make weapons disappear. So if someone pulls out a gun on them, just disappear. I've seen that in movies as well. So these legions, 120,000 of them, are just kind of going through cleaning up, getting rid of all the Cabal, the ruling families. I mean, she says that the ruling families have been told that they have to listen to what these legions are saying. If you're not doing as you're told, you're going to be removed from this planet and sent back to source. They have to comply. If not, they're going to be gone. So she can't use the old bullshit of the so-and-so family's in charge again, the Braxis are here again, the Rothschilds are doing this and that and the other. She can't use any of them anymore. She can't use the Bush family, she can't use the Cheneys, she can't use Obamas, she can't use the Trumps. This is what I'm trying to tell you, is that whatever she's said in the past now, because she's outed them as being evil, they're finished. They've got to toe the line or they're going to be removed. The White House has been taken over by the Legion, and they've told, everyone in there has been told, right, that these Legion and these angels, legions, work for the ground commander, who's Kim. Those that are in charge of the government, low level, presidents and that, are going to be removed. She calls them the dead people, and they're going to put someone else in there. But until that happens, Kim believes she's going to be installed temporarily as a global president for every single country, or until the governments comply, or they die, or they will die. So Presidente Kim again. So Kim's going to show up in the UN, or she's going to come out on TV and say, "Hi everyone, get off Air Force One. Hi everyone, Kim." Can you imagine that? That'd be the ultimate proof, wouldn't it? If that doesn't happen, what bullshit is you going to come up with to stop that from happening? Or the legions are going to get taken out by, I don't know. She said that they're the ultimate close, right next to source, ninth density beings. So these legions went into Langley, she said, and they welcomed the legions because they just had enough, they said, of whatever else was running the place. And she said they're going to be making the rounds to other areas like the FBI. They're going to shut down the Fed Reserve. That's going. Now, she said that the public will see some changes through the governments. And, well, if you're removing presidents and you're removing ruling families, of course you are going to see changes. And it's going to be a lot of change. Remember, she's talking globally. So in every country this is going to happen. So there's no way you'll be able to miss this. And she said the public will see the changes through the governments. She said that a couple of times. They're going to be going through the banks, these legions. These are global banks. And boards have been taken out of their major media companies globally. So your CNN, your Sky, your BBC, all those that have been so-called stopping the correct news going out. So if it's not a replica of United Network News, what Kim puts out, then that is going against the restoration, because her network news is how news should be presented. So we will see that change. So for the users that watch Kim's network news, she's saying it's going to be replicated right across the globe. It might not say United Network, it might still say BBC, but you're going to be seeing news like that. Not bullshit. That's what she claims. I mean, there are some conflicting dates with the public disclosure bit that she says, but she says public disclosure won't happen until it's all been, until wrapping up. But she doesn't give accurate times. She guesses it will be the end of the month. So I mean, this is what she does. She's playing with your mind with dates, because she'll say it's going to be this Friday, it's going to be in 2 weeks' time, end of the month it'll be. And then she goes on about, when it's all, until it's wrapped up. Well, going by what these guys are doing, she said this many times, that these legions are working really rapid, quick. So this is why Team Bubba are saying, and we're being generous with the time, we're going to bookmark this time. She's got to the 31st of December. And if you do not see anything significant, I mean, you remember this, right? These legions are here, and they've taken out all the top knobs and that. That means all the wars will end. So what's going on in Palestine, that'll end. Ukraine, that'll end. Everything like that will stop. Remember, it's going to be happening before the end of this year. It's got to, because these guys are rapid, aren't they? If they're only going to be, put it in a different way, if they're going to be only doing this at a level where we don't know these people, then they've got their priorities wrong, because innocent human lives have been destroyed, and animals and everything else. So if they're just targeting the top, but allowing us to be still bombed, blown up and poisoned, then again, it is bullshit. We're here that there's going to be, we will see and hear of deaths by the end of this month. I mean, what she means by that is at a high level. So I guess they're going to be like people dying of, I don't know, heart attacks and stuff like that. I don't know. She didn't really say. She said that the public will see these legions in the media. They'll also be in the background of press conferences. So you watch a press conference, and she said that they'll stand out because they're 9 density. They're not just going to be like, blended in with like some guy in a suit. You'll be able to see it. There's going to be public announcements, right, for her GIA, which is the Global Intelligence Agency, and her CARE, which for some of you don't really know, that's what replaced Life Force. Now, Life Force still exists because Tank is using that name. So this is how ridiculous it is. If it's not a business, which we know it is, it wouldn't matter what it's called, would it? And Tank could go off and do his own thing. But because he's got it kind of, I don't know, as a pattern or something like that, she's not using that name anymore. She's changed it to CARE, and this is what she does. The Man of Old Holding Trust, she changed that to something else called the Trust. Because she doesn't want you, she knows that the likes of us will always be putting content out there, whatever she's talking about. And we know that when she's talking about funding and all this, like, comes from a trust. She said that from day one. The Manor World Holding Trust owns all the assets. It's a combination of thousands of trusts. It's only one trust. She changed the name because if you search Manor Waldholding Trust, it's got a lot of negative shit to it because it's where she's been using it to scam third world countries. Look it up. It's got a name all over it. It's in newspapers in South Africa. So these legions are going to be giving help to Kim so that this care restoration part of the restoration plan is going to get off the ground rapidly. So again, before the end of this year, you should all be getting free health, free medical, free massages, she said, as part of that, the health and stuff like that, and whatever else is part of care, because I've lost count. Changing schooling, you name it. So these legions can read your mind. Remember that. They can read your mind, your intent, and they can tell if you're lying. So when they go to these people, swiftly going through all these departments, they can't use like tricks on them because they're ahead of them. These are global cabal companies, corporations that that are poisoning us. She says they'll be taken over and replaced by coalition people, which are other 8 density people. She calls this Judgment Day. Yes, it's Judgment Day for you, Kim, because you're the one that's bringing all this out. If, like I said, people will be calling you out well before that date, but come 31st of December, your time's up. It really is up. And if people are still following you by then, after what you've just put out, we will put a reminder out. Don't you worry, we'll be putting a reminder out for everybody for this video and look back. And we're going to do more videos like this because a lot of people are very lazy. They're not making notes of what she's saying. They're not putting times down and dates and recording the voice. Because you forget, there's so much going on with what she talks about. She changes so much that you forget what she did 6 months ago, what she said. Then, hence why we brought up the Murray video yesterday. Because a lot of people forgot about that. And that's terrible. How can you forget about loss of human life and buildings, their homes being destroyed, animals dead, nature affected by it? So Kim says that these legions are going after the bad people. Now we all know what bad people. She gives you an example, right? She says it's not, jokingly, she says it's not like someone who's cheated on an exam. She says they're going for those that are not complying with the restoration of Earth and the universe. Those that are looking for demons to come and help them. Those that are hacking computer systems. Those families like the Rothschilds, the ruling families. All those that are into rituals. And we all know what they're doing, these rituals. That in that bracket there, in that point there of bad people, remember, Kim says that Team Bubba are bad people. Well, she keeps using David Ray as a name, but he's nothing to do with us. Never had any say in what we do. Even though he was in Team Bubba before me, as a member, not a core member. You heard what she said about us. Pedos, trafficking children, you name it. That's pure evil. That is bad. That's worse than rituals or being part of it, because you're actually providing hosts for these people that do it, including famous people, film stars, you name it. She called us this thing a while back because she didn't want you to listen to our content. Now, because she's said this now about them taking out all bad people, well, so that means that we must be top of their list. Team Bubba, the legions are coming for us. Well, they don't need to kick my door in. I'll open the front door for them and come in. because I know it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, because even if they did exist, what she said about us was complete bullshit. It's that we've proven it in videos. It's full of shit. You lot have never seen an ounce of evidence from her on this. She got angry on impulse because of what we put out about her foundation, and that's what she does. She's got no control of her anger. You don't know what she's like off camera. She's not a very nice person. So again, we should be at top of her list, Team Bubba. So I would say, let's be generous on this. Let's give it a month. So if what Kim's saying, after what she's said about us and got so-called evidence on us, the legions would take us out before, let's just say, let's give them a month, 17th of December. 17th of December. So if I'm still making videos about Kim and Thomas Williams, then you know straight away two things: either Kim's full of shit, or these legions don't see child trafficking and horrible. Remember, she said that killing and sleeping with dead children and all that shit. Oh, it's evil bitch, absolute evil. What she said, terrible. So we should be at the top of that list. If not, these legions don't see that as a priority. Poor children, what's happened to them? Going by what Kim said. So this is what you've got to consider, people, is that this is the ultimate end day for her. It has to be, because this has got everything in it. She's really gone a step too far with this. Or has she? It's like I mentioned the other day in the other video, the Maui video. If any of this was to come true, and let's say we didn't get taken out by the legions, we would come and make a public announcement ourselves on a video and say that we're going to take down all the Team Bubba content, and that we would make new content promoting Kim. But we know that's not going to happen, because we've been following her for 5-6 years. We've been making hundreds of videos about her, and she's conniving, she's evil, narcissistic. You just don't do what she does if you're in a position like her. I mean, goodness me, if the legions are there, they'll be taking her out, I'm telling you, because she's got blood on her hands, if you believe it or not. Not literally blood on her hands, but a lot of people, look, we know people have taken their lives, okay, because of this, because of what she puts out, taken their own lives. People that have had addictions before. Imagine that you're in a Telegram group of like-minded people, and you're having a really good conversation about things that you can't talk about anyone else. You ask a question, you get booted out. What it does to you. You know, it was kind of, everyone's got an addiction of some kind. I mean, the biggest one is food, isn't it, for God's sake? But people that used to take, drugs or whatever, they've just gone back into them. We've heard of them stories. People taking their own lives, families breaking up, everything because of what she said. And it just makes me sick when I listen to comments coming back saying, these people acting all spiritual and loving, saying like, oh, what do you do for the planet? Kim does this, she's doing her best. What the hell are you talking about? You clearly have not done any research. Now let's touch on Sunny Gold. A lot of people think, oh, she's really nice, presenter. She's no journalist. I'm sorry, but what do journalists do? What are they meant to do? Journalists are meant to do research. She doesn't do an ounce of research. Because if she did, there's absolutely no way you would be the anchor person for a news channel. Because you know it's bullshit. But when you start to listen and watch some of these situation reports that Sunny's on there, you can tell she's kind of giggling. She seems all spiritual and, oh, you know, it's nice that Source is this. She's taking the piss. Or there's something clearly wrong with her. She's under some kind of, I don't know, spell of Kim's. Well, we've heard what she does. You know, Eva Cowan says she put demons in her parents' flat, for God's sake. Believe that if you want or not. But if you believe that legions are coming down from Source to take out the Cabal for us, then why wouldn't you believe that Eva Cowan was attacked by demons and her family? It's not far-fetched, is it, if you believe one and not the other? So anyway, I'm not going to go on anymore. So there you go, you've got our take on it. You need to do your own. But we're going to keep pumping out videos, and at the end of this year, we're going to put a reminder out. And you people that follow her need to, if you're too shit scared to ask her the questions, you need to start writing down bits. Because I guarantee you will see flaws in her content big time. Just like this. She must have woke up and smacked her head on the door or something for her to come out with this shit. Because that is really that is really clumsy of her to put this all out, because she knows that people, unless she's thinking of doing a runner, maybe she is, maybe this is the bit where she's going to put out the ultimate bullshit at the end of it and say that, you know, she could shut down everything and say, oh, I'm off to Planet Z with the UPU or whatever. I don't know, whatever it is. This is really clumsy of her putting this out. I've never seen, since we followed her, that she's put this kind of content out and put times on. She even said it in that video that she's never had help like this before, which means she's never put a situation report out like that. So you need to keep your blinkers off. You need to watch out, remember, for what's going on. If you see governments being replaced, this, that, the other, the GIA being mentioned, care, Kim's foundations and money. Remember, yes, again, I forgot to say that all these people have been waiting for funding for projects. She even mentions about technologies and stuff like that. You know, she's going to put all these out. Well, why you been waiting, Kim? Why are you waiting for legions to come along before you can do it? You've been talking this crap since 2016. Goodness me, you brainwashed Thomas Williams with this shit, and he's turned on you now. You're running out of friends, Kim. You might have a lot of followers and making hundreds of thousands every month, but maybe if these legions are here, maybe they're here to take you, because you're definitely not a nice person, and you people need to look into that yourselves. Okay, take care everyone. Speak to you again soon. Bye bye.